All right, I finally got my attic ladder delivered at Home Depot. I just went to go pick it up. Now I'm bringing it home. So let's get this thing unpacked. The reason why I chose this Fakro LMS steel attic ladder system is exactly that. Oftentimes at work I have to climb the wooden ones that people have installed in their houses, and they're always loose and wobbly and they just feel very unsafe. And I always think the springs are going to snap off and hit me in the face when I start climbing it. So that's why I chose this model here. And the weight capacity on this is 350 pounds. So that right there tells you how well it's built. Okay, so now it's time to measure the actual staircase, which is 46.5 by 24.5. So my rough opening in my ceiling is going to be 47 by 25. That's to give me a little wiggle room to get that thing in there and put some shims to properly support it with the right screws. So right now I'm just laying everything out in the ceiling. This is the hard part because it's just time consuming. But once I get that in and when I get all my measurements, then I can start putting in the rest of my ceiling joists and my box framing. The first thing I did was I created the length of the staircase, which is 47, as I mentioned. And now I just have to frame in the width, which is going to be 25. I will also be double plating the entire opening with two 2x6s on each side. Okay, so now that I have it all boxed in with my double 2x6s, I now need to install the joist hangers. Notice there's 8 holes in each one of these hangers. Each one must have a nail for these supports to work properly. This is a little tip for all you DIYers out there. Don't skip any nail holes if you want it to hold properly. Now that I got the staircase opening boxed in, I'm now going to install a joist hanger on each one of these corners so that everything is connected together as strongly as possible. Because remember, inside this box, I'm going to be fastening the 60-pound staircase, which I'll be pulling open and closed all the time. So it has to be really secure to everything that's framed around it. All right, just putting my last few nails in for the last joist hanger. As you can see now, the opening is completely built for the new staircase to go in. And notice that there's a joist hanger on each intersection there. That's very important that you add joist hangers whenever you're making an opening in a ceiling. That's the correct way to frame it. Now the hard part is I have to create a temporary support to slide the staircase into so I can work on it while it's attached to the ceiling without screwing it in yet. So this is the tricky part. I also plan on using 5/8 drywall on the ceiling, so I have to account for that as well when I'm putting in the staircase. So it's below the ceiling at the correct length. Whoops, I just dropped my screw gun on the floor. That means I got to climb down the ladder again. Working this whole job off a ladder really did suck. It took forever. I was just doing a few hours at a time. So anyway, here we go. I'm putting up this temporary support. And so this is so I can slide one end of the staircase into this so it rests on top of it. However, because of the weight of the staircase itself, about 60 pounds, it's going to be too hard for me to hold it with one hand and try to level it and screw it into place. So I got some help from my neighbor Patrick across the street. Okay, I got a big shout out for Patrick across the street for coming by and helping me with this project and muscle this thing in. Thanks again, Patrick. I owe you one, bro. Okay, thanks to Patrick, I got this in place now, and I'm just tightening up these screws here. I was a little paranoid that thing was going to come falling down on my head. So let me show you what I had to do next to adjust this and support it from the top. Now what you're looking at here is some finely tuned engineering. It's actually recommended by the manufacturer to temporarily support this and adjust it with shims. It actually worked out pretty good. So I put some really good high-strength rope on there on each corner. That allows me to put a wood shim underneath each corner if I need to raise it. And if I need to lower it, I just untie one corner and readjust the rope, and it'll drop it down a bit. Once I finished adjusting everything from the top with the ropes and the shims, I was then able to remove my temporary supports from below, and then I could open the actual staircase for the first time. And as you can see, the ropes are still in place wrapped around the frame. So I started putting screws in and wood shims. And these are, I believe, 3-inch or 3.5-inch deck screws. Now that I have at least one screw in each corner of the staircase frame, I can now start removing the temporary supports, one on each end there. And once I get those out of the way, then I just go around and I will completely screw off the sides with 3 screws on each side on the long way and then 2 on each end. Okay, so now it's time to open up the staircase all the way and get ready to make some final adjustments on where the stairs land on the ground. So now there's a lot of calculating I got to do. I got to read the instructions on the inside of the door here. That's what I'm doing here, trying to figure this out. There's a lot of little adjustments I got to figure out, and I look really confused right there because I was, and it was hot out, and I was there already half the day. So, yeah, this is me thinking I know what I'm doing. Okay, so the first adjustment, I got to use a 10mm wrench here, and that is for the 4 bolts that are connecting the ladder to the actual door brackets. There are 4 of them, and when you get the door, it's going to be loose. So you just need to pull it all the way up to the top and then tighten all the bolts. Okay, so here's one of the first adjustments. See how there's a gap right there? That gap needs to be closed all the way. Otherwise, you're going to damage the stairs over time. So right here is the correct. So you get 3 different sections to this ladder. That's what enables it to fold. So what the instructions say is to do what I'm doing here. Put the legs on somewhat of a level surface. And then you want to measure from that middle section of ladder all straight down with your tape till it hits the floor and get that accurate measurement. And then you're going to translate that measurement over to the bottom set of stairs. You make a mark on that, which I'm about to do. And then once you make this mark, you transcribe the same mark onto the other leg on the opposite side, and you just cut off the ends. And those rubber caps that are on the end right now, you just take those off and reinstall them onto the ladder after you cut everything. So now we're going to take the ladder back down to the ground and check to see if it's fitting properly. Now those joints should be pretty tight between those 2 sections of the ladder. And there you go, right on the money, nice and straight. Everything's connected properly. The ladder's adjusted. Now it's time to climb it and get into that attic. Let's get up those stairs. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the channel and leave as many comments as you like. I will respond. See you on the next one.